Well, thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here, and it's very inspiring to come up on stage and speak after a poet. So I'll come back to poetry in a minute. I only have a few minutes, so I'm going to say things in kind of bullet points. But just democracy. I was very honored to receive an invitation from the Permanent Mission of Greece at the United Nations to present Jazz Democracy Forum a few years ago at the United Nations in New York, and with a great team of amazing players and scholars and scientists and other artists, visual artists, dance, and we also have had artificial intelligence. And we talked about how it is that in jazz we're all equal on stage. It doesn't matter where you come from. We communicate, and the only thing that matters really is if you have assimilated the language, if you know the language, if you're able to play. And that's the first thing. The other thing is that you have to communicate and respect, because even in jazz, if you look at the music, of course, and the different eras in jazz music and different styles, we have different styles and different approaches. So sometimes I say that our parliament is the jazz club. So if you come to the jazz club, you might see like a quartet, a quintet, a bunch of people playing on stage, and they might be good. They might know the language. They might be like poets themselves, but they have different styles. So you have to listen to each other. You have to respect each other so that you are able to sound good. Even if you play amazingly, then you won't sound good if you don't listen to the other guys playing with you. So this is our kind of parliament and expressing opinion, but without, like you have an orator, you have a speaker saying things to you, and then you have another one, and then you say, okay, the first one was good. This guy was great. I agree. And then the second guy comes up, and, you know, oh, this guy too. Oh, he has a point. And then the third guy, and, you know, go on and on. But if you imagine that in jazz, we communicate in real time, all of us together. It's not like me being a soloist. You're going to listen to me a little bit. I'm going to play like 10, 15 minutes, some original compositions and improvisations, but I don't have a band today. So it's going to be my speech against some grooves that I made. So it's not a total democracy exactly what I'm going to do later. But I'm sorry about that. But okay, so we tried to explain all that at the United Nations. I had, as I said, great people with me. And then two things that I want to mention that happened after that forum is that, first of all, we had, on the roundtable discussion, we had somebody representing artificial intelligence. We had Gil Weinberg from Georgia Tech, and they built robots that improvise. And at first, me and the other people were like kind of taken aback, you know, seeing like Shimon robot playing marimba and saying, oh my God, you know. And I'm sure, personally, I don't want to go into a jazz club to listen to 4 laptops. I'm not going to get a drink there. Definitely not. But I was intrigued, and actually it was back 10 years ago that I started this collaboration with Georgia Tech. They are great with robotics, but I thought that if we want to teach AI to improvise, then I think a guy that can play, you know, can do the job. It's not about a scientist or an academician or whatever. So I started getting into that thinking, how can we teach AI to improvise? It's like, it's crazy because, you know, improvisation is very much like poetry and prose. It's like an actor coming up on stage. He has a framework. He knows not exactly, but he knows the topics, but he can you know, tell them in a different way. Or if we go to ancient Greece, a rhetorician. A good rhetor is a guy who had a database of ready-made phrases, but he knew how to accent them, and he knew how to change them to address a different audience. So I think that is really very exciting, and although jazz and Greece doesn't say something, says it's too far, it's not actually too far. And When we presented at the United Nations, I was approached by the Turkish administration, and they saw that I was doing this festival since 2015 in Rhodes, the island of Rhodes, and they told me, okay, we got this festival in Turkey, Bodrum Jazz Festival. Why don't we do a sisterhood? So that was an amazing idea. And the next year, 2019, we started this, we call it Jazz Across the Water. So we take the little boat and we go from Rhodes to Bodrum, and we play there. We have, every time we have great hospitality. They are amazing people. And then we invite them to the Palace of the Knights at the island of Rhodes, at our festival, to play. So last year we had a trio from Turkey, Tanini Trio. I had Marios from Cyprus. I had Nestor from Greece. So we had Greek, Cyprus, and Turkey. Greek musicians, Cypriot musicians, and Turkish musicians jamming on stage. And I think that is the second thing that happened with the cultural diplomacy. The other thing, in our festival, we don't have many funds. We don't have a lot of means, okay? So we need some help. So we get groups that have support from their embassies or their arts councils. So I think now we're talking into a little bit of politics and not actually diplomacy, but why don't we have this kind of structure here? I know that the Ministry of Culture helps NPOs like ours and to do festivals and other things. But you know, this is one part. This is one part. The other part is to have an arts council so we can actually support young artists to travel, to produce CDs and ideas and everything. And finally, to close this, we had this robot. The robot came last November, and we played at the Athens Concert Hall, and the robot was able to improvise after this jazz mapping research that we're doing at the Athens University and Dimitrios Research Center, and in real time with quartet. And okay, we'll see how this will go in the future. I don't have any more time, but thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And please, we'll go towards that direction. I'm going to do a little performance for you. And thank you for your time.